Welcome to the Sister Street Show with Mary Nunley and Sharon Giro, interactive show and virtual playground where we explore topics around entrepreneurship, online and in-person events, and the games that can be played with all of it. We invite you on our journey of sisterhood discovery and trial and error in the adventures of online entrepreneurship.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Sister Street Show. I am your co-host, Mary Nunley, with my fabulous co-host, Sharon. Yay! And if you recall, last time we were talking about your identity and how that ties in to you and your business. And one of the tools, because this whole section on apprenticeship as you grow into your entrepreneur business or entrepreneurial spirit is about us providing tools that reinforce the topics that we discussed in season 1 and season 2. So today it's going to be a short, sweet, powerful episode, and we're going to walk you through the process of creating a vision board, either in the physical world, if you like to cut and paste and glue and stitch and do whatever, and then also in the digital world. So Sharon has led workshops on creating vision boards, and I'm going to let her kick it off and tell us a little bit about what is needed for creating a physical, non-digital vision board. So Sharon, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Mary. So we are in the process when we're creating vision boards of creating a visual representation of what we want to bring to us. This likens back to, all of the writings and all of the concepts around the secret, right? So the secret is about manifesting what you want and doing so through repetition, intention, energy, and in vision boards specifically in visual format. The reason we focus on the visual format is because we are creatures of sight. And so even people who are blind, oftentimes they consider what an image might look like. It's how we use our language, right? Picture a day when this is possible. Or even when I say, think about hot dogs. The first thing that comes to mind is a picture. Most often for most people is when I say hot dogs, your first instinct is going to have a picture of what a hot dog looks like, and then the smells might come in, then the remembering of the taste might come in, etc. And so we want to harness that strong sense of vision as we're looking into creating our vision boards. Now, from a physical vision board, some of the materials that you will need are right in front of us. Before I start on this, Mary, anything I've missed in terms of the history and the concept of vision board?
So the only thing I would add is, again, for some people who are just like, oh, the secret, oh, that's too woo. If you listened on our last episode, I also talked about how we use vision boards without calling them that in business all the time, but we call it forecasting. And so we look at how many people are going to come to our business? How much money are they going to spend? What are my expenses going to be? And we put it in a spreadsheet and we have all these numbers, but it's still a vision board, because if I'm doing my forecast for the whole year, I have no idea what's actually going to happen, but I'm creating this picture with numbers that says, here's what I'm expecting and here's what it's going to look like. So for those of you that are going, this woo stuff, this, cutting out pictures and visualizing, think of it as a roadmap for your life. And what are those steps? And the only other piece that, Sharon's talking about visualizing. So for those of you that are listening that are like me in that very, very small percentage of the population that literally cannot close our eyes and visualize, it's okay. Go with what works for you. It might be words, it might be sounds, it might be feelings, but I literally never could understand when I was in a meditation or something like that, when they're like, picture yourself on a beach. And I would just close my eyes and see black. And all these people are like, ooh. And I'm like, what the heck are they talking about? They must be making it up. It's actually a little brain disability, or not disability, but just brain thing. So there are, if you can't see things, you're okay. Don't worry about it. Just think about what you want your future to be like.
Absolutely. So great. And yes, there's different ways that we use vision as well, right? So your picture, when I said hot dog, could be an image. It could be a sense that you have, or that picture could still be just like the word hot dog or things like that. So exactly as Mary said, you are absolutely on point and correct and doing it the right way using your way of vision. And so I love that point, Mary, and it actually leads perfectly into how we create physical vision boards. And then we're going to shift medium to virtual so that you see how easy and how simple it can be in multiple mediums. And she also, Mary, said exactly what you need to have a quote unquote successful vision board, because this is what people often miss. They think in only one dimension, and you do need all of it to make things more potent. And whether you're woo or not, just think, the more detail you add, the more real something gets, right? If you're building a building, first you need the foundation, or you need the location. So you need to clear the land of anything that's on it. Then you need your foundational structure, right? You need the support beams. And then finally, you need to add the pretty windows, the colors on the walls, those types of things. Very similarly, when you're creating a vision for your goals, you want to build from those elements. What does that mean? It means you should have words on your vision board, because some part of your brain is going to get appeal from words. So if you have a board, and if we're creating a physical vision board, you can have a poster board, you can have a sheet of paper, you can have a canvas like I do, but just any piece of blank space. This can be any color that you want as well. And then you want to add some words in there, words that are meaningful to you. This could be your core values. This could be aspirational feelings, but you want to have different words. So I don't know if I'm writing it properly, but.
Oh, so we just lost what you were writing.
Okay.
There we go.
So having words on your vision board is important. Why? Because when you're looking at it, some parts of your brain are going to look for images, some parts are going to look for actions, and having words on there is going to help us with action.
I love it. So just to kind of jump in and tie it together too, Sharon was using that analogy of building a house or a building. Think of your vision board as your blueprint or your roadmap, because as you're building, there's going to be hiccups that happen. There's a shortage of wood, or the faucet that you want for the sink is no longer available, but you've got your roadmap. So it's the same thing with the vision board. You change, your vision board changes, your financial goals change, your spreadsheet changes. So just keep in mind that this is an evolving document, much like that forecast I mentioned earlier. And as your goals, your desires, your life changes, go back and revisit your vision board. Would you agree?
I would 100% agree. And even better, so I have a podcast. Mary, if I may shout out the podcast.
Of course.
Thank you. My podcast is Ohanapreneurs, which is about leveling up in business and life through relationships. And episode 3 is Shabade Jagla Ramnath. She explains this direction setting that Mary just talked about so well as your GPS, right? You know from point A to point B where you're going, the destination. But just like the nice Siri lady tells us, detour ahead, you have a crash, you're still on the fastest route. There's no emotions that come with, okay, I've got to move route, right? And yet every time we hit a hiccup, or every time something happens, like a shortage that Mary talked about, we get this sense of I'm failing, or I don't know what to do. Just keep going from point A to point B and allowing those direction shifts. So if you want more, listen to episode 3 on the Ohanapreneurs podcast.
I love it.
And now back to our vision boards. So
yes,
got some words on. We also, of course, want images. Images are easy pictures that we attach meaning to, that help us to put ourselves into different situations. It's why movies are so popular. It's why books oftentimes gain popularity, because we see an image or a moving image in a movie playing out, and we can put ourselves into that story. So what does this image evoke for you, Mary?
looks like somebody's dancing.
Yeah, perfect. So what does that remind you of or bring to mind, or what type of emotion comes up for you?
Falling down.
Okay. So this might be and that's why it's so important, right? Because this vision board is supposed to be personal for you. And Mary, this would be a cautionary image where we don't do dancing because dancing is dangerous. And so this might be in a section of move away from, not move toward.
Yes. Well, Mary likes to dance, but Mary is also a big klutz. And so if Mary's dancing with someone, there's a good probability that one or both partners are going to end up on the ground.
So maybe Mary's image might be upright where they're like a little bit more set.
Exactly.
And for me, this evokes the emotion of fun and carefree because I used to do swing dancing when I was a lot younger. And so, although I also am a klutz, having the sense of freedom where I'm twisting around and being thrown across and not having the fear is very attractive for me. So that's where these images come into play. Pick images that make you feel positive emotions, joy, achievement, happiness, peace. And those are the images that you put forward. And then the final thing that I just asked Mary to do, and I hope that you do as well, is to have an emotion attached to it. When you look at the picture, imagine yourself in that picture and know what feeling you're attaching to your vision board, because the intensity of your feeling will create your success. For those of you that are doing spreadsheets that Mary talked about, look at that bottom line. Change that color of your profit to the color green. Hopefully green for you means money and profit, but change it to a positive color. Make that profit number bigger. And that is your vision, because it's a roadmap to the profit that you want, right? And so making sure that there's intensity of emotion, making sure there are words, making sure there are pictures are some of the key elements. There is one last one, and then I'm going to turn this over to Mary to show us some virtual examples as well. The last piece, anytime you're creating a vision board, is that you have to be in the picture. You know, oftentimes we wonder, why is this thing not working? I have a very clear vision of what I want. It's out there on my sheet of paper. It's in front of me. I see it every day, and it doesn't motivate me. Well, it's possible that it doesn't motivate you because you're not in that success picture. It's out there. It's still out in the world. It's always ahead of you, and you never cross the finish line. So you've got to put a picture of yourself, possibly with your loved ones if they matter, but having a picture of yourself is most important, where you see yourself smiling, happy. You know, take a vacation picture that you recall with much joy and put that in. If you are not in your success picture and your vision board, then there is a possibility that you will always keep that separation from what you want and your dreams. Mary,
I love it. And just one other thing to just add, for those of you that are just like, pictures don't do a lot for me. I did attend a vision board workshop several years ago where everything was in writing and stick figures that we just drew things out. And we were told to put ourselves in the center and think of it more like a mind map where different branches were in different colors and address the different parts of your life. So spiritual, financial, family, mental, emotional, intellectual, whatever's important to you. And so that's the other piece of the vision board, is think about the whole, or maybe you're just doing a vision board for one part of your life. Maybe it is your business. But regardless of whether you're working for corporate or whether you're working for yourself or something in between, yeah, exactly. The vision board has to still address some of those other pieces. So even if your vision board is 100% about your business or getting promoted in your corporate job, think about the pieces that are touched by it. How will this impact your family? What kind of, what will it do to your work-life balance? What will it do to your bank account? So keep that in mind as you're creating that vision board, because otherwise it becomes a very one-sided thing. And you may find that, ooh, I got this one goal that I wanted. And then you're like, oh, but I'm now divorced. I don't have any friends. Because you forgot to include your bigger world. Sharon, I know I'm like putting us down a Debbie Downer path. So why don't you bring us up to a happy space while I bring up the software?
To me, no, that's absolutely on track. Is making sure that as you're setting your vision, you look at all aspects of your life, because we are not one-dimensional creatures. So don't think that, okay, I'm creating a vision board for my business and it has nothing to do with my family. Well, what does your business success mean? Hopefully it means more time with your family. Sometimes it means more time away from your family, whatever brings you joy. But that is feeding into that picture, that vignette, right? And what we do with vision boards is we're telling our conscious and subconscious, so it's that connection, but we're seeing in front of us what we want. And if all we want is one facet of our lives, oftentimes you'll find that, oh, I was so focused on finding love that I let my finances slip, right? Or I was so focused on making money that I let my spiritual, my going to church, fall off the wayside. And so having a holistic picture of what you want, even if it's just in the elements or, the smaller images or smaller words, is important. Okay, what does that mean for you, spreadsheet folks? Well, perhaps on the frame of your big profit picture should be those calendar images of your family, right? That's on the edge of it, right? Oftentimes that's why we have those calendars, those family calendars that we print, because we know our deadlines in that month, what are the key dates that we need to hit. But we also have an image that brings joy to us of our family and that vacation that we're looking forward to once we achieve those goals, right? So
Love
that
it.
holistic picture is a good aspect of creating your vision. All
I
right.
love it. So very briefly, if you Google or whatever your search engine of choice is, free vision board makers, you will find a lot. I chose Canva because so many people are using Canva, both in the business world and in the person, in your own world. And so they have a free vision board maker and they include templates. So if you're going, oh, I don't even know where to begin, you can always start with a template. So if you go to canva.com/create/vision dashboards, it brings you directly to the vision board creator. And from there, if you're familiar with the Canva interface, you can start out with a blank picture, or you can select one of the many templates that's already there. So I'm just going to randomly pick one. We're going to go with something that's a little less cluttered. And this one is very simple. So I can swap out each of these elements. So here, I might decide to put some words. And so I can add those words, and this is not a Canva lesson, but in each of these blocks, I could put my words. So maybe you chose colors that appeal to you or appeal to your business or appeal to you what you're doing. In this particular instance, this is a very small vision board. And so this might be for a short-term goal. Let's say that in the next 3 months, I want to launch a course. And so in my vision board, I'm going to think about, why am I launching the course? How is it going to help my audience? How is it going to help my business? And what do I want to see at the end of the day? What do I want the course to look like? How do I want my audience to feel? And so this could be a very short, because there's just a few pictures here and some words. Cool thing is, you can then also print this out. And so if you want to have that physical representation, you can pick it out. So again, not a Canva lesson, so I'm not going to go through and show you how to change out all of the images and such. I can also go back and pick another template. So that is another way to use it. The other thing that's really nice about these vision boards is, because it is on Canva, if you are more auditory, you can also insert music clips, little video clips. I've seen people build their vision boards in PowerPoint for the same reason. You can build the vision board, you can put in music, you can put in little motivational messages to yourself. So on each image, you could have something that gives you a pep talk, like, okay, here, I want to get in better shape. So, in my head, it's the chicken fat music from, the 1960s. It's a little workout thing we had to do in school. So I got a little clip of that. Over here, I want to learn to play an instrument. So maybe there's a small clip of music from a famous guitar player that I'd like to emulate or like to be able to do. So the advantage to me of going more digital is that I can address more of my senses in one aspect. The thing about physical is there's a lot to be said about the actual act of jotting down numbers on a piece of paper first before you enter them in a spreadsheet, cutting pictures out, physically touching things, because for many people, it makes that experience more real. Sharon, back to you.
I love that. Well, and you see there on the left side, there are options where you can create as free form or as linear an image of what you see as success as you want. So that's the beauty of also having templated forms where you can start with something, because oftentimes it's really, if we're not sure if we're creative, if we're not practice at creativity, so we are somewhat, we come up with good ideas, but we like to start with something, a framework. Then these things like Canva, there are vision board booklets, things like that. They can help you to start your creative juices flowing because it's a framework. And sometimes I start with a framework and then I end up deleting every single thing except one, image or one piece of text. But still, you're creating something from a framework. So if this is once your first time or you don't do it often for your vision board, that's a good suggestion, is to start with a framework and then move from there. Love the adding of the sound factors, Mary, as well. And another point of note is you will start to see which colors appeal to you as well.
Mhm.
And then you can dress in those colors, or you can take it off of the vision board and into real life by surrounding yourself with the things that make you happy, that remind you of this vision that you're creating. Ultimately, the purpose of a vision board is so that you start with the end in mind. You might have heard reverse engineering is a really big thing right now, and looking at what you want to achieve, your success, your goal, and then engineering that success backwards from already starting at the end and then looking at what steps did it take to get there. So that's also one strategy, that once you've created this vision board, sit down and say, okay, well, what is my business plan? What is my to-do list to get to this vision? And some of you might want to just leave it up to the universe and manifest it with your energy. And others of you might want to create a strategy plan that will break down your goals to get to this vision.
Yes. And
Ultimately, we
I
start
was
with
just saying, if you're stuck, I just pulled up another template that kind of helps, like, here's my year, here's some categories: health, family, relationships, career, personal. Notice there's not as much imagery here. There's more spaces for words. So for those of you that prefer to write things, this is another way to go. Sorry to cut you off. I was just so excited to find this one.
yeah, no, it's perfect. And so that's basically our inspiration and call to action for you so that you can start to create your vision. We think that you can go as big as you want to. This is my grand vision once I retire. And we also like to do the simple things. We're going to do a storyboard for your week workshop. That's also possible for your vision board. What
Mhm.
can be a vision board? A simple plan of what your ideal week looks like. That might be in your scheduler, that might be in a visual format, but you can start as simple as, I want a good day, I want a good week. A good day or week would look like this,
Yes,
and create it.
I love it. And, even blocking time out for yourself. I'm taking a course right now, and one of our first assignments was share with the rest of the class what days and what time each day are you going to work on your coursework? When are you going to watch the videos? When are you going to do the homework? When are you going to post to the discussion? I'm like, wow. I mean, I've taught online for way, way more years than I care to think. And no one's ever approached it in that method. It's like, that's pretty cool. So again, as you're doing your storyboards, as you're doing your vision boards, as you're thinking about your life, it could be as granular as, when am I going to do things? Or it could be very big picture. If you visit sisterstreet.show, we've also got some downloadables for you that are free, that will help you gather the equipment that you need, plan your vision board, and get you merrily on your path. So, Sharon, I'm going to let you close us out.
All right, so happy vision boarding, everyone. Please share your vision boards with us. Pop them into the chat. Let us know how you're doing with it. Let us know where you're stuck. and send people to sisterstreet.show so that they can also get the resources. Sometimes it's fun to do this activity in a group setting as well.
And if you're on Facebook, if you visit the Sister Street Show Facebook page, you can also share your vision board with us there. And that way, as a community, we can start building and sharing and supporting each other on our journey.
Perfect. So be sure to come back. We are continuing with the apprenticeship series, and we have some very specific strategic tactics that we're going to be sharing in the next few episodes as we continue to build our toolkit as apprentices on this entrepreneurial road. And for you leaders that are already at scale, this is also great resources to continue to build engagement with your team and to share with your up and coming high potentials so that they can continue to grow your business. We'll
I
see
love
you
it.
soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for future videos.